Hi, I'm Perry Atkinson, General Manager here at theDove. Hey, check out our other videos and check out our website at thedove.us. Well, welcome back. Our special guest is Jason Naumann. He's director of a new mockumentary called Jesus People. And it's a movie coming out. We want to talk to Jason about it. Hi, Jason. How you doing today?
Good. How you doing, Perry?
Good. Nice to see you. Well, interesting. Tell us about the film.
Well, the film, as you said, is a mockumentary. It's called, our log line is the rise and fall of America's worst Christian pop group. And it's basically a story of Pastor Jerry, who is afraid for his son's soul because he listens to music that he thinks is a bad influence. And so Pastor Jerry feels like it's his calling to start a Christian group so he can save his son's soul. Wow.
How'd you come up with this?
The writers, Dan Ewald and Rajiv Sagamani, wrote a web series that we did, a 6-part web series that we filmed originally, and they created the characters, and then the web series was such a success, and that we just realized there's so many more places to take these characters that we decided to do a feature film.
Wow. It's a Christian film.
Well, Christian film, you know, there's always that discussion of what's a Christian film. It's a Christian film made by Christians, about Christians, but the purpose wasn't evangelical, so there's no gospel message. So I don't think it would fall in the category of Christian films, but it's interesting because, like I said, it's done by and about Christians.
Can it be used as a ministering tool?
You know, I'm going to say yes, but I think it's oftentimes the default to say, well, it's a conversation starter. And you can say that about anything, really.
Sure,
it's
right.
a conversation starter. It's an awful film, but it's a conversation starter. But within it, I think that there's, you know, for Christians, I think a lot of people, the reaction is interesting because a lot of people see it as kind of a mirror. And you can kind of tell when it strikes a nerve because people kind of see themselves in some of these characters. And so from that standpoint, I think it's great because people can kind of, you know, relate or, you know, whether they like it or not to certain characters and say, all right, well, so are we really like that? Is that really how the world sees us? And then I think for, you know, if you were to start a conversation with a non-Christian, it's a chance to explain some of these stereotypes, and whether it be to apologize or to just explain where we're coming from. So yes, I will fall to the default. It's a conversation starter.
Yeah, there you go. So was the film Noah.
Exactly. If you're talking about it, then boom, it's a conversation starter.
There you go. I understand you had some interesting cameo appearances, huh?
Well, we had the script. The film is scripted, but we had a lot of room for improv, and so we had a lot of guest stars that, you know, they're like kings of the improv. And they came in, Tim Bagley and Kristen Sussin and Mindy Sterling. But we did the film a few years ago, and so like Octavia Spencer, who won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in The Help, she did a very, very small cameo in the movie. This is back when she was filming the movie, so she was telling us about this film called The Help that she was working on. And then we play over the credits. We play her whole YouTube piece where she improvs this song. And then like Wendy McClendon Covey was in it, who's in The Goldbergs right now on TV, and she was in Bridesmaids. And we had amazing talent. That's wonderful.
So how do people see it, Jason?
How can they view it?
Yeah.
Right now we have a limited theatrical release. If you were to find on Facebook, Jesus People the movie, or go to JesusTheMovie.com, you could see what theaters it's at right now. But it's also available right now on iTunes.
Okay.
For purchase and rental, and then video on demand. I think DirecTV on demand. There's Amazon Prime. I think I've heard people get it there. So if you search for it online, you can watch it right now.
Okay. So where do you think this whole filmmaking thing's going? There seems to be a real interest in faith-based films, whether it's Hollywood's attempt to do it or just Christians getting involved in it. There seems to be a lot of interest there.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's great. I think it's you know, it's interesting to see. I think the Passion of the Christ kind of kicked it off in terms of crossing over what we would call Christian film into the mainstream. And since then, of course, there's been a million conversations about, you know, is Hollywood doing it right? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it just a conversation starter? But I think it's, you know, I think it's good that there's an awareness, whether it be just conversations about faith, but it brings it to the forefront. I think for a while it was definitely separate from everything else. Christian films was a small genre, and now I feel like it's kind of spilling over, and I think it's good.
That's good. Yeah, well, there seems to be a lot of interest in it. And, of course, you know, we're seeing it a little bit on television, too. I mean, I guess you could take the Duck Dynasty thing and kind of shake your head and say, wow.
Right. Well, and it's like, you know, I think there's a call for like it's interesting because I think you have a call for like Christian filmmaking and Christian filmmakers. Just like Duck Dynasty is not a Christian show, but it's a show about Christians.
Right.
So I think it's an interesting line because I'm more inclined to go towards the shows that are done by Christians or from a Christian worldview or about Christians as opposed to just a Christian show, Christian film, which tends to be more self-serving for the Christian audience, which is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I feel like, and you can have it, use it as an evangelical tool and have, steps of salvation in it. But I think there's something about seeing people just live it out in front of the camera as well as behind. I mean, a lot of the interesting situations I've had from a ministry standpoint aren't the content of the films, but it's the people I meet along the way.
And I think that's, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I commend you, because I just think it's so exciting to see Christians now get back into the arts and show their talent and use it in the way that it's being used today. And here you are, Christians doing films. Now, obviously, you're viewing content control so that's not offensive, but it does have, as you say, a conversational starter to it.
Yeah, and there's a couple reviews. We got LA Weekly and LA Times, secular publications, but they really got the spirit of the movie, which was it's edgy but not mean. Because we're Christians, we had, some of our jokes, like one joke I think we had a 2-hour conversation over. Is it insulting to Christ or to Christians? Are we touching theology? We try to stay away from that and just be entertaining using, the experience that we grew up with. I'm a pastor's kid.
Yeah.
The writer is a pastor's kid, and the other one's a youth pastor himself. So it was definitely a fine line in terms of attacking, being funny for the sake of funny and not making light of the theology we believe in.
That's a healthy conversation.
It can be. It can be.
So what's next for you? Where are you going with all this?
Well, as always, I'm a filmmaker, so there's always a script in my back pocket and a project in the works. But right now we want to see where Jesus People goes. We just released last Friday, and so I'm just curious to kind of see, overall what's the audience reactions to it. Does it open any doors? I like comedy. I got some other comedies I'd like to work on. So we'll see.
How long is the film?
Just under an hour and a half. I think it's 88 minutes.
Okay. And again, tell our viewers where they can get a viewing of it.
iTunes right now for, I believe, rental and purchase. Okay. And I believe Amazon Prime, DirecTV. If they go to our website, JesusPeopleTheFilm.com, JesusPeopleTheMovie.com, sorry.
Okay.
There's a listing of the theaters it's in right now, so a very select amount of theaters, and then where to click to view it, to rent or to download.
Wow. Well, best to you, and I'm glad you're doing it. I'm just so excited to see more Christians back into this arena and taking it back in various ways. We've had quite an array of I would say, Christian-based films over the last several months. It's been very interesting to see it. The Noah thing, man, just sparked all kinds of controversy, but I think the good side of that, it caused people to go read the story of Noah in Genesis.
That is true. A lot of Christians are like, wait, he was a drunk? What? Yeah. That's in the Bible? What? Yeah. Some of that stuff's there, yeah.
But go read it for yourself and get the real story.
Right.
There you go. Right. Hey, blessings on you, Jason. Keep up the good work. And let us know when you have some new projects coming out, okay?
Absolutely.
God bless. All right. We'll be right back.